This is the third video of the things that I think that the police might not have done well. This is probably the final video, but go back and watch the other two if you need to first. But we're now at the point where it's mid-February and we're about to get a second search warrant. So now they've gone through all those 100 bags of evidence that they took out of the home and the warehouse on December 26th and 27th. And they have found that there's nothing there. They have found so far, they're coming up very empty on their searches. There was nothing on the blue tarp. There was nothing on the boat cover. There was nothing in the truck. There was nothing in the house. There was nothing in the boat. They cannot find any physical proof that Lacey was brought against her will in any of these methods, using any of these methods in any of these vehicles. They cannot find any sign of her. So now they go back to the judge again. And in the last video, I said they used Amber as an excuse as to why they needed wiretaps, because they thought just maybe they were working in cahoots. And since Amber was voluntarily recording them, they weren't saying what needed to be said. So they wanted to get wiretaps behind Amber's back. So they lied and said, we think she might be his accomplice. Now they go to get the warrant for the second search warrant on the house, because according to them, they couldn't get anything out of that house the first time around. So this time they're going back, and this time they're much more clear about the motive. They said that it's financial. Now they're going back. They've changed their tune so many times. Now they've gone back and now they're saying it's financial. So they want all the financial records out of the home. They want all the banking records. They want all the insurance policies. They want all of that. They think maybe it was some sort of soft kill. So there is no physical evidence, but they're still looking for things like cleaning solutions, things that he could have poisoned her with, pills or medications or things like that, that would have been a sign of a soft kill. The first time they went in, they were looking for those black pants and the white shirt that she was supposedly wearing on the 24th, because every single witness said that's what we saw her wearing. So when they went into the house, they're like, surely that outfit's here someplace, because she was wearing that the day prior on the 23rd. They could not find that outfit anywhere in the house when they searched for it. Now they've gone back with the second search warrant on February 18th, and now they're trying to look for the outfit she wore that night. So the night before, the night the police think she died, which is the 23rd, she was at the hair salon. She was wearing tan pants and a black blouse. Now they're going in looking for that, and they find that outfit. So when they thought that that's what she was wearing when she was killed the night before, that was in the house. The black pants and white shirt that everybody said they saw she was wearing the day she disappeared, they couldn't find that outfit. They also took all of the financial documents out of the home, and almost immediately Brocchini tries to play the financial aspect to Scott's friends and family and coworkers. So first, Brocchini sends a letter to Scott's parent company accusing him of fraud and embezzlement, looking at the credit card receipts and looking at some of his business transactions. Brocchini felt like maybe Scott was making too much money, and so he notified the company. The company hired an accountant to come in and do an internal investigation and found nothing. They went back to the police and they're like, nope, this is a false lead. Scott was not committing any fraud, no embezzlement. Everything he did here was on the up and up. All of his business records were accurate and true. Here's all the things Brocchini, I think, did wrong as the head investigator. So the very first night he was at the house, this is just within, the first hour he's there, he looked in Scott's truck. That's where he found the tarp. That's where he found the boat cover. That's where he also found the fishing gear in the back seat. But he also found in the glove box, he also found a loaded pistol, which he took. He didn't have a warrant. He lied later and said, oh no, I had permission to take that. But Scott found out his gun was missing, and Scott said, where's my gun? And then Brocchini had to admit on the stand, I took it because I wanted to run some tests on it, but he didn't have a warrant. So he took it without permission, which is against the law. Brocchini also lied to everybody about Lacey's knowledge of the boat. He knew that there were witnesses that Scott and Lacey had dinner with a couple of weeks before Scott bought the boat, and they talked about the boat and they talked about buying a boat, and they wanted to buy a boat together. So Lacey knew that Scott was contemplating buying a boat with friends, and then Lacey was also at the warehouse, and this was a fact that Brocchini knew because a witness came forward and said they saw Lacey at the warehouse on either the 20th or the 23rd, and Lacey asked to borrow their bathroom. Brocchini knew that. He knew that. But he didn't bother to tell anybody that. He kept going forward with this. This was a secret boat theory. He lied about the life insurance. He told Sharon Rocha, he told Scott's friends, And it somehow leaked to the Modesto Bee that Scott had very recently taken out a $250,000 life insurance policy on Lacey, which was not true. They had life insurance policies, both of them, on each other that they had gotten almost 2 years prior. That's it. And Brocchini also knew from speaking with the insurance man who sold them the plan that it doesn't work for a missing person. There actually has to be a body before you can, there has to be a death. You have to verify the death before you're able to collect on insurance. So it would have been 7 years before Scott would have been able to collect on anything. And the insurance man also told Brocchini, Scott's never come forward. No one's ever asked me about this insurance since the day they signed the forms. So Brocchini knew that Scott did not, this was not financially motivated, but yet he went to, the morning it came out in the Modesto Bee at 7 a.m., he's calling Scott's friends like, your dude doesn't look that good now. Look, he took out a life insurance policy. He kept telling lies and lies and lies, trying to get Scott's friends and family to turn on him. This was a lie that he continued to tell Sharon Rocha. In addition to telling her about Amber Fry, he also said that they had pulled blood evidence from the home and that Scott had very recently taken out this insurance policy. So it was all of these things together that made Sharon Rocha turn on Scott Peterson. And Brocchini also admitted under cross-examination that statements attributed to him in 3 or 4 affidavits used to obtain search warrants and wiretaps were incorrect. So he knew that false statements that were attributed to him, you know, that he said this and he said that, they were attributed to him, and he knew they were false, but they were used in affidavits to get additional search warrants and additional wiretaps. And he didn't admit that they were wrong, so that they could get the warrants and the wiretaps that they wanted. And I'm going to fast forward really quick to the trial because there was a point where the police and prosecutors violated Brady rule by not turning over evidence. So on February 18th of 2004, as they're in court, the judge orders the DA to turn over all evidence to the defense team because the defense team had received thousands and thousands of documents at the last minute. Included in those were hair. Remember, I told you they'd found the hair a year earlier on February of 2003. Now it's February 2004, and the defense hadn't been given any hair evidence or duct tape results. Both of those things would have excluded Scott, and that wasn't given into the defense until February 18th. Other witnesses that claimed they were either responsible for Lacey's disappearance or knew who was responsible for Lacey's disappearance, that information was kept away from the defense. And there ended up being 809 pieces of evidence that they believed to be exculpatory. So the defense thought that some of these items would have proven Scott's innocence, and they were withheld by the prosecution to give to the defense, which is required by the Brady rule. So a judge ordered them to finally turn it all over a year after this investigation has taken place. I don't know about you, but I set out to see if I had reasonable doubt, and I have reasonable doubt. I have one more series of videos where I'm just going to basically make my closing arguments, because I think at the end, wrapping all of this up to say, here's all the things I discovered and here's all the things I would have questioned as a juror, then we can finally bring Scott Peterson to a close. Thank you for continuing to tune in. I will be back with one more short series of videos, and then I'm putting this baby to rest.